Sponsored by Noble McIntyre Law.
And welcome to another edition of The End Zone, along with Cameron Johnson. I'm Colby Daniels, special guest this week from 107.7 The Franchise, covering the Oklahoma City Thunder, Aubin Phippen. Aubin, how are you?
I'm good. I'm alive, but I'm barely breathing. We're here, guys. It's been a long week, but happy to be here.
I would like to just say, I hope that when the NBA expands to, what is it going to be, 32 teams in a couple years, that they move the Thunder to the Eastern Conference. Not because it would be an easier path to the NBA Finals, but because we would get earlier tip times.
Yes, please.
I am exhausted this week with all these late tip-offs, and it's not even the worst-case scenario because Game 4 Monday night is a 9:30 Oklahoma start time. What are we doing?
What are we doing? No, I like I said, barely alive right now because these 8:30 tips. So let's get rid of that. Again,
Yeah.
I'm all for the Eastern Conference.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I feel like I'm kind of walking through a haze right now after these last couple of nights. Like, you know, on Thursday I was referring to Tuesday as yesterday, and I was like, I don't even know what day it is at this point, but we're having fun. It's a great couple of games so far, so can't complain too much.
I think the Lakers are probably walking through a haze as well after two games at Oklahoma City, losing both games by 18 points apiece. Although the games were completely different, the outcome was exactly the same. Big Thunder wins. I thought the theme from Game 2 had to be physicality, right? I mean, it was a game where I think we all noticed very early the whistle was not going to be a big factor in that game on either side, right? I thought they let both sides play about as physical as you could get away with, and I thought there were frustrations from both sides, obviously, and it just kind of felt like one of those games where you're not going to get bailed out. You're just going to have to struggle through it.
Yeah, just play through it. I mean, SGA said it in post game. He felt like Oklahoma City was the more physical team, and that's why they came out on top. Lakers might disagree with that statement. Austin Reeves feels like he's maybe a little disrespected by the refs. The whole team, the way they had a little powwow there at the end with the refs. But, I mean, it's just kind of a crazy night officiating-wise. But, I mean, there's really not much you can do other than just keep playing your game, and the Thunder come out on top.
You know, in Game 1, you said they were kind of like similar games, so to speak, but it felt like Game 1 was the Thunder, you know, dealing with a little bit of rust and not necessarily, you know, doing what we're used to them doing. Whereas Game 2, they were much better still. You know, there's still some ground to make up there. The Lakers did a good job of hanging with them once again, but the Thunder looked a lot better, and I think that this game felt more like a playoff game, and I think the physicality of it had a lot to do with that.
Game 1 was sloppy because you felt like they just weren't in a rhythm. Game 2 was sloppy because of all the contact and physicality, which Mark Daigneault, what you referenced, Mark Daigneault and SGA both commented on after the game.
LA's physicality in the first half, I thought they were the aggressor, especially their offense against our defense. And so we had to kind of endure their punch in the first half. They obviously took a lead in the third. Shea had 4. And so it's just kind of an unpredictable game.
The way basketball works, usually the more physical team and the team that imposes their will more just wins. And that's probably why we won tonight, probably why we won last game. We did a good job, especially in the second half, of really playing our style of basketball, being physical, pressuring them, making things uncomfortable.
Like you said, Shea mentioned they were the more physical team. I was curious to see how Shea was going to bounce back from a subpar Game 1, lowest point total of the season, highest turnover total of the season in Game 1, the aggressive defensive looks he was seeing. I thought he handled the pressure much better in Game 2. I thought the players around him also handled the pressure much better. And I didn't get a sense of frustration the same way in Game 2 that I did in Game 1. And I made it a point to look at the bench several times, you know, when he was saddled with foul trouble, and he was as happy as anybody on the bench watching his guys play well. Generally, stars, when they're not playing, are sitting over there, you know, like upset that they're not in, and that wasn't the case for him. He was excited to watch his guys perform at a high level.
Yeah, I mean, and like he said again in the press conference last night, just someone asked him, you know, do you not like sitting on the bench, or are you happy, or what's your feelings going, you know, that third quarter, whenever he sat for most of it. He said, I don't care as long as we win. And that's always been SGA's mentality. He stands by that. The whole team stands by that. But props to the Lakers for their game plan and the way that they have come out and defended him, but making them win without SGA. But he goes to the bench, and they go where they were down by 4, goes to the bench, players. I mean, and they go ahead. So
Yeah.
I mean, it just goes to show like they're good game plan by the Lakers, but didn't quite work out.
Well, speaking of that, Chet Holmgren and SGA after the game both mentioned that stretch where SGA gets his 4th foul with 10 minutes and 34 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. The Thunder were down multiple possessions, and A.J. Mitchell, Jared McCain, Jay Will, I mean, a collection of players for the following 10 minutes just played outstanding. Here were their comments.
You know, not letting the circumstances change how we play the game, just sticking to our stuff, playing together. I think we did a great job of that on both ends. We let our defense set the tone for our offense, and you know, I think AJ and J-Mac were huge in those minutes, along with everybody else, but huge in those minutes, kind of captaining the ship.
They strung together stops. They're playing the right way offensively, and things are going their way. Full confidence in those guys. They know how to win basketball games, and we've proven that. They've proven that. No matter who's on the floor, know how to get the job done. And they just did it again tonight.
There you go. Chet specifically pointed out A.J. Mitchell and Jared McCain. Let's start with A.J. Mitchell.
Yeah.
I can't say enough good things about this guy. To obviously have the rookie year that he had as a 2nd-round pick, nobody's counting on him to do anything. He's injured, and you know, all of a sudden he has 4 playoff starts now, averaging 18.7 points per game when he starts in the postseason for the reigning NBA champions, and especially in this series with the Lakers dead set on taking SGA out. That puts even more on his shoulders. He has been absolutely tremendous.
Yeah, no, AJ Mitchell probably has been the biggest topic of conversation so far in this playoff series. It's hard we forget that he's only a year and a half, or longer than that, almost 2 years, only into the league last year, and how much of those time was taken away from injuries that he's had to deal with. So, I mean, just what a get for the Thunder and Sam Presti for getting AJ Mitchell. And I mean, people around the world are seeing, like, who is this kid? And now they know who A.J. Mitchell is.
It's a little unfair, just how well the Thunder front office has done with just assembling. You know, Jared McCain is another guy who they just picked up, brought in, and made an impact. But A.J. Mitchell, you know, they had him last year, didn't really do much, but this year, and especially in the playoffs, he's just stepped in. And you wouldn't think he's, you know, stepping in place of someone.
Yeah.
He plays like a guy who should be a starter, and especially when you see the 2nd quarter in Game 2, and then I think it was the 3rd quarter in Game 1. Just a couple of really big spurts in there that have been really beneficial for the Thunder. And again, with Shea being double teamed and a big point of emphasis, that's just an extra weapon that makes it a lot harder.
And Jared McCain has, I mean, he quickly became a fan favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, almost immediately the fans just gravitated to him, loved his personality. Maybe that's the social media stuff, I don't know, but the fan base really has embraced him. And I was pretty skeptical about what his contribution was going to be in the postseason.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you got to give it up to the guy. 8 of 10, by the way, from downtown so far in this series, 80% from the three-point line. I mean, that is incredible, and he's obviously, through these first 2 games, earned postseason minutes going forward until he proves that you can't play him.
Yeah.
Defense is obviously like the big worry there, but he's been awesome, and what a spark plug.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not like Jared McCain? He's kind of just has an infectious personality about him. Obviously, the social media aspect of it. But the man's just happy wherever he is, no matter what it is. And I think he's just grateful to be getting playoff time. He's taking full advantage of the time that he's getting, like you said. I mean, I almost trust him just as much beyond the arc as I would trust Isaiah Joe to take that 3. So really stepped up big for the Thunder in these playoffs. What a get, again, for Sam Presti at the trade deadline. Don't think the Sixers sold high, if I have to say so.
Yeah, that's true. Real quick before the break, more contagious smile, Jay Will or Jared McCain?
Oh, that's hard.
Because they both kind of have that that big smile that just feels contagious because it kind of makes you smile when you see it.
Yeah, that's hard. I'll give Jay Will the edge.
Okay.
I was going to go Jay Will as well.
Seniority as well, right?
Yeah.
And he's the glue guy. So Jay Will is the answer. All right, let's take a timeout. We're going to do some blind celebration rankings. Thunder had a lot of big plays this week. We see a lot of celebrations. We're going to rank them next here on the End Zone. Along with Kamer Johnson and Abed Fippen from 107.7 The Franchise, I'm Colby Daniels. We are talking Thunder-Lakers series. Thunder currently lead 2-0 after their two-time 18-point victory in games 1 and 2. Now they head to Los Angeles for games 3 and 4. Game 3 Saturday night, game 4 on Monday night. Maybe a game 5. I think they're going to sweep, but we'll see what happens over the weekend. Nationally, I feel like there is a lot of crying and complaining about what has taken place in this series so far, but we are optimists on the End Zone, so we're gonna focus on the happy elements of this series and the celebrations. The Thunder have had a lot of big plays, momentum swinging type of plays in this series. So with that comes like the celebrations that everybody loves, and it gets the fan base excited. So let's blind rank some of these celebrations. We're going to start with SGA, and he had a big one in game 2 following a fourth quarter three-pointer. Here we go. The SGA celebration. Where are we blind ranking this 1 through 5?
1 through 5? I'll stick him in the middle and just go 3. I
solid
think
3?
I
Okay.
think it's solid. We don't see it very often, so I'm going to go 3.
I'm going to say 4, just because I know there's a lot of good celebrations out there, but we've also seen him hit it a couple of times in big moments, so it's
Gotta play safe.
All right,
play
let's
it
take a
safe.
look at Jared McCain. Again, fan favorite. Everybody loves him. You know, sometimes he's got the big smile, which probably helps his celebration. But
Yep.
I love it when the guys on the bench do the celebration as
yeah.
well. What do we got for McCain?
I'll probably put him at 2, just because it's been really fun to see
Okay.
how much the crowd has enjoyed it.
I would agree with that one, especially after, you see, like you said, the crowd doing it back to him, the bench doing it, and you get some really cool
Yeah.
pictures and moments out of it. So 2 is a safe spot.
All right, let's rank Isaiah Hartenstein's celebration. We don't know where this came from or what it's all about, as Hartenstein told us earlier this week, but it cracks me up every time I see it, so it at least brings me joy, and J-Dub was really getting into it in game 1.
I think I'm going to put it at 5, even though I do like the whole background, like it just randomly started the celebration. I think J-Dub almost does it better than Hartenstein does, but I'm going to go ahead and play safe and put him at 5.
I will also go 5, but I do think you get a couple of extra points in there for how much the bench interacts with it and almost has more fun with
Yeah.
it.
All right, let's do Cason Wallace. I like this one a lot. I'm not saying where I would rank it, but I like this one a lot because it's subtle, right? It's like holstering the pistol, and he's obviously not a guy that's shooting the ball a ton, so it's not as on display as like a Jared McCain or an SGA, but it's so subtle, it fits Queso perfectly.
Great minds think alike, Colby, because that's my number 1. Casey's-
Really?
Yes, he's actually,
Okay.
his celly is my favorite. I like how subtle it is, kind of like Oklahoma, like outlaw type.
That's right.
And he's my mom's favorite player, so shout out
Oh,
to
well,
my
there
mom.
we
There
go.
you go. Yeah. I think I have 3 left. It's not number 1,
Okay.
but I think I went 2, 4, 5.
Okay.
So I'm going to put it at 3.
All right. You have good taste, Mama Fippen, so congratulations to you. All right, the last one. This one is my number 1, although if I was blind ranking, I might not have one available, but we got to look at Alex Caruso and the all-out psychopath that he is with the headbutt of the basketball. I mean, I could watch this on
Yeah.
repeat for probably like 10 minutes and just be pumped up, ready to like go run through a wall.
Yeah, I would rank it higher if he would do it more often. So I'll put him at 4. I think my
Okay.
last spot is 4, but if he does that more often, he might be a top 3 spot.
Okay.
What'd you put at 1?
I
Oh,
had
you put
Queso.
Kaysen.
Queso,
Queso
yeah.
at
Okay,
1.
okay. Yeah, no, that's a fitting 1 for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that.
I mean, I think in the end I may have ranked Shea a little bit higher, but
Yeah.
for the most part.
But it's a blind
Yeah, it's
ranking,
fine.
so
It's
you
a
know
blind
what?
ranking, and that deserving of a
Typically, you're
number
full of
1 spot.
regret when you do a blind ranking.
That's
so
fair.
that's kind of how it works. All right, we're going to take a time out and put Abin Fippen in the hot seat on the other side of the break. It's Moving the Chains next here on the End Zone. All right, it's time for Moving the Chains. Abin Fippen from 107.7 The Franchise is our guest, along with Cameron Johnson. I'm Colby Daniels. You start with 1st and 10. I know we're talking basketball, but, this is Moving the
remember.
Chains. It's a football theme.
I remember how this
and,
goes.
you got the tough judge over here that's either going to give you
scared.
positive or
I'm
negative
scared.
yardage. So we'll see what happens. All right, 1st and 10. A lot of people say flopping is killing the NBA. It's the biggest problem in the league. I would argue that whining is at least in the conversation. There is a lot of whining that I feel like is very unbecoming in the NBA. So flopping or whining, what is worse right now for the league?
I have to say right now, because I feel like flopping is just a thing that's been going on for a while, it's the whining. We're grown men arguing with other grown men over calls. So yeah, I'm going to go with whining.
I think that's a tough debate. Like, it really goes either way. I think right now, I'm like you. I lean toward the whining. So
Let's go.
I will give you a pickup of 4.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
It's whining. I probably would have given you the first down because I am so sick of the whining. Flopping has been around forever. Yes, it's annoying. Yes, there are times that I get really frustrated with it. But I mean, does nobody remember Manu Ginobili like 20 years ago? This is not a new thing. The Thunder are not the only people that do it. Shea's not the only person that does it. The whining, though, is out of control, and it just, it drives me insane. It takes away even more from the product, I think, than the flopping. So I don't know. I think it's a good debate, but whining, I think, by far is the worst or more detrimental. Okay, so first round series against the Suns, there was a lot of whining. Second round series now with the Los Angeles Lakers, a lot of whining. More annoying over officiating, the Suns or the Lakers?
I mean, last night has to take the cake. I mean, after last night's game, I'd have to say probably the Lakers. I mean, kind of hard to compete. I mean, with Dylan Brooks and that whole situation, but I got to go with the Lakers this time. I mean, y'all are the big market. Let's take a step back. Let's calm down. I know you're scared to get swept, but you're kind of on that path right now.
Yeah, and also I think the Suns, like Dylan Brooks was kind of feeding into it a little bit too. I think the Lakers, before Game 2, might have been a closer debate there, but yeah, after Game 2, it's definitely the Lakers. I'll give you, let's just go for the first down there.
Woo!
There you go.
Let's go.
There you go. And it's rich coming from the Lakers, who have led the league in free throws attempted for like the last 10 years. I mean, the Lakers have never had a whistle go their way, for crying out loud. If you base JJ Redick this week on the whistle is. Again, the whining is just too much. We'll see what happens going forward. Not a fan at all. All right. You always hear fans say, well, if this guy was healthy, it'd be a different series. Thunder and Lakers are both missing a pretty significant piece. So I'll just throw this out to you. If Luka and Dub are both healthy, what does this series look like?
I still think Thunder come out on top. I think it's a more competitive series in general. I think maybe a Game 6 is as far as I would go with the Luka.
Okay.
But then you add J-Dub in the mix, so it's like I won't take it to a Game 7. So I'd say like a Game 6 situation.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think, Luka is a huge part of the Lakers, but I think at the end, the depth of OKC is still there. So, I mean, now granted, he might bring an added element outside of the actual game itself to the Lakers that would make them a little bit better, but I agree. I think this a little bit longer of a series, but still Oklahoma City's.
All right, very quickly, who wins the Eastern Conference?
Ooh, this is hard. It's kind of a bloodbath over there right now. Pretend I'm Jerry Ramsey, I guess, and say the Pistons. I like the Pistons, but I think the Knicks are kind of on a roll. I want to see the Pistons in finals, so I'm going to go with the Pistons.
All right, there you go. The Detroit Pistons will be representing the East, and we're on a collision course between the Thunder and the Spurs in the Western Conference Finals. All right, that is Alvin Phippen for 107.7 The Franchise. It is the closing argument next on the End Zone. Welcome back to the show. It is time to wrap things up with the closing argument. That is Noble McIntyre. I am Colby Daniels. Just a few weeks ago, we wrapped up one of the best sporting events on the sporting calendar, the NCAA tournament. Some people threw a fit when they added those play-in games and moved the field from 64 to 68. Those people are really going to be upset now because the wheels are in motion to turn this tournament into a 76-team field. Overall, your thoughts on how this impacts the sport?
I mean, the purist in me wants to say we should have never expanded at the beginning. You need to reward excellence, and you're not doing that by increasing it. But I'm telling you, March Madness is March Madness, and nobody has ever sat on their sofa and thought, you know what we need a little less of? March Madness. And so I think that the fact you get more potential Cinderellas, more schools that were just on the bubble, more schools like OU that were peaking at the end but were the last team out. Into that, you're going to see some runs by some teams that wouldn't have otherwise gotten in. And you're going to have some more Cinderella teams that you're going to talk about years from now. So despite the fact that originally when the expansion happened, I was against it, now I'm for it.
I initially, even this week when I heard the news, was completely against it because my initial thought is you're rewarding mediocrity, not to mention you're watering down what is an already average to below average product across the board in the college basketball regular season. But the more I think about it, I don't think that you're going to salvage the college basketball regular season. So you might as well double down on what the crown jewel of your sport is. That's March Madness. If you're giving people more March Madness games, guess what? Even if they're mediocre teams, people are going to watch.
They're going to watch, and let me tell you, it's good for TV. And for schools like OU, that's the last team out 2 of the last 3 years.
That's right.
It's going to be huge. So I'm all for it.
And I think every college basketball head coach out there is all for it because they're going to be able to pencil in a few more NCAA tournament appearances. I know Porter Moser would have made the tournament, I think, 4 of the last 5 years if this were a 76-field team. So I don't know. Everybody's going to have a different opinion. We'll see how it plays out. But more March Madness one-and-done type games is good for drama, and I think we'll all be tuned in.
I do too.
All right, that is Noble McIntyre. I'm Colby Daniels. We'll see you next week for the closing argument.